All right, welcome to another DFW Running Talk. I'm Chris Detzel, and today's special guest is Braden Keefer. Braden, how's it going?
Good, man. Yourself?
It's good. I just saw you not too long ago at the at
Right.
the
What was it?
uh,
Vector.
party. Yeah,
Yeah.
Vector. We just a couple beers, hung out for a minute, and asked
Yeah.
you to be on the pod. I think I asked you a long time ago to be on the podcast.
Yeah. I think a couple months ago or something like that. And then we just you were like sometime
After
after
your run,
Indy.
I wanted
Yeah,
you, yeah, I wanted you to do your marathon, and then we'd have something to talk about more.
exactly. Because that'd be totally boring and wouldn't be anything worth listening to otherwise.
Maybe we'll see after the podcast, see
Yeah,
how many
exactly.
people
You might
listen.
not want.
So
Right.
let's get a little. The reason I asked you to be on is I'm always intrigued about people that get better and better during their runs in their races over time. And really, you're young. You're pretty young. I mean, you're 30 years old, and
That'd be
you're
it.
doing some amazing things. And I think that you're going to do more amazing things as long as you keep kind of up the work ethic. And so I just want to get into it. Like tell me a little bit about your background of running, or did you run in high school, or what did you do in high school? What did you do in college before, all that kind of stuff. Maybe you didn't do any running. I don't know. That's what we're here for. Talk a little bit about
Yeah.
it.
So I started running when I was about, I guess I could go back from like the very inception of it. Like we had this thing, my first interest in running, I'd say, was when I was like a little kid. We had this thing at my elementary school called the Oklahoma Jog, and you'd have to run laps around this like small park in Edmond, Oklahoma called Shannon Miller Park, and you'd see how many sticks you could get. And I was like one of the three students who got the most sticks. I mean, I can't even remember how long we had to do it. It seemed like a long time, but it could have been like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Who
It
knows?
just reminds me of, it's Oklahoma, so you just make shit up to do.
Yeah, there's not
So why
much to
not
do
run and
out
get
there.
sticks?
There's not much to do out. Well, it's especially growing up. You're right, especially growing up there, early 2000s. I mean, it was really, there wasn't much going on. You got to keep the kids entertained somehow. And so that was
Uh,
things that we did. But I wasn't super involved in any kind of running until I was about 12 years old. So that was seventh grade. I couldn't play football. I was too small. I didn't really
yeah.
have I'm not really that great at any other sports. I kept getting fouled in basketball because I just wasn't very good at it. And so I really there weren't many sports I was that great at. So running was something that I thought, okay. And I swim about as fast as a rock. So that wasn't going to,
No triathlons in your future?
I don't think so. I can swim. I want people to know that I can swim. I just don't
Okay.
swim fast and I'm very negatively buoyant.
I think you would you're very competitive. And so I can imagine, you getting into a triathlon, you're going to be pissed because, you just drown
Yeah.
basically, or just go
Yeah,
really
pretty
slow.
much. When I was a lifeguard, when I was 16, and we had to do like a fitness exercise. Me and one of my friends, he was trying to outdo me in how many laps he could do, and I think we both just agreed to like stalemate it because we had been
Yeah.
doing it for a while. I mean, for us, a while, not to any professional
But
swim.
you can last a long time. So
Well, whatever is long to us at the time, and
yeah.
we both ended up, like, throwing up in the locker room, so, I mean, that says
Yeah. All
anything.
right.
But,
So
yeah, I didn't really have any other option, so I joined the cross country team in 7th grade. I was okay, I wasn't really that good. I was always, like, one of the not very good ones in the beginning, and then as the year would progress, I'd get, like, into, like, the better category. And then fast forward to my freshman year of high school, I was gonna join the cross country team, but again, I didn't really have any idea of what that meant or what to do or even how far we were running. And we
yeah.
had a 3-mile time trial every year at Edmond Memorial High School. We have Coach David Salmons, my first ever I guess my second, but my high school cross country coach. He was like the football coach. He was like a football coach for cross country because he was always screaming at us in a good
So
way. I mean, I
yeah.
love but, the top 7 high school runners that's their varsity spot, and so I'll never forget this. I went out and I ran my first mile in 6:52, and then
Uh-huh.
I ended up running a 3 mile in, like, 27:50 something. Yeah, so I was, like, one of the worst kids on the team, and, I got tired of just not being that good because
Mhm.
I just didn't like not being that good, and I also just was like, "This kinda sucks that it hurts this badly, the whole K, so I'd like to improve. So I kept working. I did better in track. I actually won a couple of freshman races in track. Then sophomore year, I made it to the varsity spot. I was fifth man for a while, but I would never be able to hold the varsity spot. I'd always be like the top 10 to 12 in the top
Mhm.
10 to 12. I mean, we had a big team, but I was never able to hold the varsity spot for state meet. I was only ever able to be like an alternate. So I never ran a single state meet for high school, cross country, or track. Part of that was like distracted. I was involved in a lot of other things, you
Like
know.
what? Not working hard enough or
I'd say maybe that was probably it. I wasn't
just,
dedicating it. I had my first ever girlfriend, so that was kind of a big deal. You know,
oh,
you
okay.
don't focus as much on that.
Yeah.
I was it definitely was, digging. I was involved in a lot of other extracurricular activities, and that kind of took my focus away. I wasn't really like dialed in. And at the time, I just felt like it wasn't working for me. So I stopped. I went to college, gained like, golly, how much? I think I got up like 30, 40 pounds heavier.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what a lot of
Were you just drinking and eating and just
drinking,
doing
eating,
what college people do for the most
some
part?
unsavory habits. I picked up
Yeah.
an unhealthy smoking habit for a little
Mm.
while. So American Spirit Blues for about 3 years and, wasn't I mean, like, I wasn't like a pack a day smoker or anything like that, but I mean, I'd still like
Yeah.
regularly, casually smoke. Some other things that I just wasn't just not taking care of myself. And then I'd say I stopped. I really wasn't into running for about 5 years. I really didn't do it much. I would like have periods where I'd kind of run, then I'd stop, and then I'd kind of
Yeah.
run and stop. But the day that it actually stuck was like December of 2019. My girlfriend at the time, she's from Capel, Texas,
Yeah.
and we went to college together. So we were down there visiting, she was down there and I was just going to be there for a couple of days before Christmas just to hang out with her and her family. And they're very into fitness. And she was going to go to the YMCA and work out at the
Okay.
Y. And she had like, she's one of those people who does like really long workouts and hardcore workouts. And I was like, I don't want to be at the gym for 2 hours. So I'm going to go run. And the
Yeah.
weather wasn't that great. It was like cold and rainy, but I just said, forget it. I'm just going to go run like 4 miles and I'll come back. So I take off from the Y and I run through this park that's really close by. And I am just like, there's like just this headwind just hitting me.
Yeah.
And I remember just audibly complaining, like audibly just whining the whole time to myself. And I was like, you know what? For just like you being that much of just a whiner, like a piss and moaner, you're just going to let's run 10 miles instead of 4. So I ran 10 miles and
Did
that
you
was
ever
huge.
run 10 miles before?
I had before, but I was back in like high school. And then again, I had like just suddenly come back. I mean, then like I had run like off and on here and there previously, but what really consistently got me back into it was that moment. And I don't know why, but there was like no external thing other than, hey, doing this. And then COVID happened and I was like, well, there's not much else to do.
So you just started.
So just I've got a lot more free time now, so just guess I'll start running and get better at that. And yeah, that's kind
I
of
mean, were
how
you
it
still smoking then, or
No,
were you
I
still
quit
over?
I quit smoking when I was like 21.
Okay.
So
Were you still overweight or did you lose the weight or what?
I had already lost the weight by then. I had started like working out probably around 22,
Okay.
21, 22. I had like gotten back into like I had started like losing weight and getting back into shape around 21.
Okay.
Just because I just didn't like the way I felt. I didn't like the way I looked, and I really just didn't like feeling like crap the whole time,
Yeah. How'd you lose it? What'd you do?
I really just like I dialed back on the amount that I was eating. I
Mm.
didn't eat as much junk, and I cooked for myself more,
Okay.
and I didn't drink as much. I mean, not that I had a problem with drinking or anything
Yeah.
like that, but, like, I would be like, "Oh, I don't have to go out," or, "I don't have to go out and drink." I can just have something else.
Yeah.
But, like, I was consistently going to the gym. I was just being more active in any way I could.
I think there's a lesson to me. I think one of it, if you're really young and you're a little bit overweight, it's a lot easier to lose that weight when you're young. When you're older,
Right,
it gets a lot harder, right? And so all you
right.
have to do is cut back a little bit. I like how you say that. I started cooking for myself, started working out a little bit.
Yeah, nothing crazy. It was never anything it wasn't anything extraordinary. I just tried to be like and if there was something that I really craved, I wouldn't buy it. Like, I wouldn't get it in my house. Like, I'd keep it
Yeah, I think
away.
that's the best way. I
Like,
was
my
telling my
like
wife, I was like, please don't buy sweets. because
Well,
I'm gonna
exactly.
eat them all. Like I
Well,
have no
right.
self control.
Exactly, and, like, the problem with me, like, I'm not like, I don't have a huge sweet tooth, but if you have, like, a tray of Oreos, I'm going
Yeah,
to eat them. I just know
exactly.
myself too well, and it was, like, little things like that,
Yeah.
little incremental things. It wasn't anything crazy, and I just noticed I started feeling better and getting in better shape. I still kind of avoided running a little bit. I just didn't
So you
I
didn't really
just
do cardio though when you were losing the weight? Because most
I
people.
did, but it would be like getting on the bike or
Okay,
walking or
got it.
whatever, but there was no real structure. I didn't have any kind of structure. I want to like that's
Okay.
a big thing I want to hit home. Like I did not there
Well,
was
it sounds
no
like the structure was to me like eating less and a little bit healthier and doing a little bit of exercise. I mean, that's
Yeah,
really all you did
right.
and cooked.
Right.
I
And I
mean,
think a
it's not
big
like you're good.
no, 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 please.
No, no, I mean, I think it's a big deal. Right? You start cooking
Right.
yourself, you probably weren't eating a lot of fast food. Diet is generally 80% of the thing.
Right.
I remember when I was 37 and I was probably 40 or 50 pounds overweight.
Really.
Yeah. You and I are somewhat short. I'm 5'7" ish,
Yeah,
five,
I'm
seven,
five
eight,
seven and a
maybe.
half.
Yeah. So we're about the same height.
Well, I'm 5'7" and 3/4 according to
Yeah.
my work biometric scan. So I get away with 5'8".
I'm
But
just gonna pretend I'm 5'8". So whatever, we're close to the same height, and 40 pounds is a lot.
yeah, no, you definitely don't wear it the same way. Like, my brother is, like, 6 feet,
Yeah,
6'1".
exactly.
He's got 4,
Yeah,
5 inches on me.
and I was 170 at the time.
Yeah,
I'm about 145 now, right?
yeah,
And that's about good.
I'll float around. Yeah,
I was about 140 when I did, or 139 when I did my best race back in September, which
yeah.
was probably a little too skinny, but I kind of liked it.
I mean,
So,
I think if you feel
but
good, I
yeah,
think that's the biggest thing that people need to keep in mind. Like, I think there are a lot of and this kinda goes back to the point I was gonna make, like, there are a lot of things that seem like just unobtainable, and I think
yeah,
if you make things like, if you're like, "I'm going to do this, this, this," it almost can be too overwhelming because life gets in the way. And that's coming from me, like, somebody who's, like, very driven, and it's like, if I wanna do something, I'm going to, like, push, 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 push. But I think it's important also to keep in mind, like, you don't like, there's not a one size fits all kinda thing, and, don't I think there are a lot of unrealistic standards that
mhm,
we see on, like, social media, on
yeah,
TV, and it's kind of like, "Oh, if you don't look like this, then you're, like, a failure," and, like, no. Like, the most important thing is, do you feel good?
yeah,
Do you feel good? And so if you're a little on the slim side or a little on the thicker side, like, hey, I mean, if you feel good and you're happy, I'm psyched for you. I think that's the best possible thing you could be. That's all that really matters. I certainly was in the category of I don't feel good.
yeah.
And
I was the same
like
way.
I know this is bad for my health. I know it's bad for my mental health. My mental health was already terrible at the time, but that's neither here nor there. But it certainly wasn't helping being really out of shape.
Yeah,
And so
I agree. I mean,
yeah,
getting out of shape is for me mentally exhausting and
it
makes me
sucks.
feel really bad about myself.
Yeah, right,
It can really take a toll on your mental health.
right,
I think it didn't for me.
right.
It sounds like it did some for you. I want to kind of go back and we'll get to the running piece, I promise. But you mentioned that you moved, or did you start living here with your girlfriend, or did you just?
So that's actually funny. We long since broken up. This is a long time
Sure.
ago. We were in a weird like we had been together for about 3 years, broke
Yeah.
up, and then it was like the next year was like, are we together? Are we not? And
Hmm.
at that point, I'd gotten a job in Dallas, and she was living there at the time. And I can't lie and say, there was no I didn't move entirely it had nothing to do with her. It definitely there was a
Sure.
fast but I also hated the job that I had at the
Mm.
time. I really just was not happy there, and so when I got my current job with my current company, I was like, "Yes,
Yeah.
that's regardless of what happens with her, I know I will be much happier and this will be a much better fit for me."
I think there's many things that can influence those decisions, right?
Yeah.
Certainly, a girl is going to influence at a young age.
Well,
It's going to
yeah,
always
I was
influence us. It did
right.
me.
I
I
was
mean, same thing. So,
25.
yeah,
I was 25 when I moved to Dallas, and
a good
so
job helps, and you were familiar with Dallas.
yeah, right, and I had friends there, and I was like, "This is just a good next step." I didn't wanna be in Oklahoma anymore. I was ready to move out, it was just
Okay,
time. And so that's kinda how I ended up in Dallas, and obviously it didn't work out, and there's no hard feelings or anything like that.
yeah.
I wouldn't have changed it. I
I mean,
I'm
that's
glad I
just
ended up there. Here.
yeah. I mean, there's yeah. I mean, there's always reasons why you're put into certain situations, and then you are where you are now, right? So
Right.
so when you look at, all right, so you've been with Dallas. I was just curious about, how you got to Dallas and why did you stay in Dallas? And it sounds like a job, kind of a girl at first, and then the job kind of kept you here, right? So ish
Right.
in between, I don't know, whatever. But
I would love to live in like I have a lot of friends out in New York City. I mean, I've built a great community of friends here in
mm,
Dallas, and it's amazing. Like, I love
yeah,
it. I would love to live in a place like New York City. I just have to afford it. I just need
yeah,
to, make sure I need the funds to do that, now with
probably three or
especially with
four roommates.
yeah. Or, and I've already got a roommate who doesn't pay rent, i.e.
Yeah, your
Ralph.
dog,
So yeah, exactly. So I got to think about that too.
freeloader.
Freeloader, yeah, you know that? He's just like he's just
All
looking
right,
at me.
so okay, a few years go by, and then you kind of start getting back into run. What kind of got you back into it?
I just like the way I felt.
Yeah,
Like, I liked the way I felt. It brought back good memories, and I was like, "Well, I need to be in shape for my own." I want to be in shape. I want to stay in shape. I want to do this until I physically can't anymore, or until I die, whichever comes first. And so I just decided, okay, like I'll just keep doing this and just try to push the envelope and see how good I can be. Like that's what I always tell people. Like people are like, "Oh, what are your goals? Like, what do you want? Like, what's like a goal that you want?" I want to be as good as I can humanly be. I don't know where that limit is. Because I've found, at least so far, I'll have like a mental block of something in my head and I'll
yeah.
know, like, okay, I'm going to keep trying to go through it. And if I don't go through it, then it's just maybe that's my physical limit. But every time I've punched through it.
Did you start running like 5Ks? What was kind of your
I
thing?
mean, nowadays I prefer okay to the half marathon. I like even like if you can find a 2 mile race somewhere, I like doing those. Those are fun. I run marathons, I've run six, but I don't know. The half marathon's always nice. I
I hear
think
you.
that's the full marathon. It just takes, it takes a lot
Takes a
out of you.
toll. Takes a
Yeah,
toll.
it takes its toll. And, but that's like kind of what you have to do to qualify for a lot of things. At the time I was running a lot of 5Ks. So that was
Okay.
like my big thing. I was like, okay, I want to get my 5K time down. At the time when I got back into it, it was like 17:58. And I was like, okay, let's just bring that down. And over the
That's
course
pretty
of a
good.
year, well, thank you. And over the course of a year after I had started,
When was this,
uh,
by the way? That
what's
we're
that?
How old were you then? Because you're 30 now, so I'm just trying to put the
How old
timeline
when I
together.
started this? I
Yeah.
was 24.
Oh, okay.
I was
All right.
24. And so I went down from that to self-coached 16:50
Okay. Yeah.
on my
Made
own.
some progress.
Yeah, on my own. And I was like, "Okay, like, cool. I'm happy." Brought my mile time down from, like, 4:56 to 4:52. I haven't really run a hard well, I have, but it wasn't as good. We don't need to talk about that one. But yeah, and then I did a couple of other just races like 5K up to the half marathon. And then eventually the
Yep.
goal was to do a marathon. First ever marathon I ran was in 2021, ran 3:08. And my goal was to break three.
All right.
But I
Wait.
think it's,
So let's back up. So we jumped right into the marathon. Did you do some half marathons before, or kind of how did
yeah,
you
like,
start
but
thinking about?
it wasn't anything crazy. I mean, my first ever half marathon, I was 15. So
Okay.
I'd done some before.
So you kind of knew.
Yeah.
Did you run half marathons before your first marathon, or
I ran one.
to kind of prepare?
Like,
Okay.
post getting back into it, yeah, I ran one. It was the Cinco de Mayo one in Irving. It was before I moved to Dallas,
Okay. So it's all
but
before.
yeah, but I stayed at some friend's place. I slept on their couch, and I got 3rd in, like, 1:24.
Dang.
So,
Did you
yeah.
know that was a pretty good time, or?
It wasn't what I wanted. I wasn't really I didn't have a lot of structured training, and I thought I could run, like, a 1:18, and I could not at the time. I, uh I remember that was where I first met what's his name? Chris. I don't even know why I blanked on his name for a second.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first time I met him, and,
Okay.
it was in that race, and he and I were like he was kinda screwing with me, like, he would take off, and then he'd slowly come back, and then he'd take off again and slowly come back, and he said afterwards, he's like, "Sorry, I was playing with you," and I was like, "That's fine." But that's how I met him. He's a great guy and great runner. That was kinda like the first time I met him. First runner in Texas that I had met, really. And so, yeah, that I knew, like, it was okay. I was like, "You know what? Hey,
Yeah.
it's something. Marathon's not for another 6 months, 5 months or something like
What
that.
made you decide to run the marathon? Like, just thought
I
you'd do
just
it?
just thought I'd do it. My dad's run a couple marathons
Hmm.
and my mom's done one, and I just thought, I guess
I
this
might
is
as
the
well do
next.
that. Yes.
Yeah, like everybody's talking about it, and now that's like the thing in my generation. It's like everybody's getting married or running marathons.
Hey, it feels like a healthier kind of from 20s to 30s. People are doing a lot of this stuff. Not necessarily
Yeah, I mean,
marathons,
I
but
think it's
running more
great.
and doing stuff. So I
I
like it.
think it's I think it's awesome that more and more people are getting into it. It's like the second running boom.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been talking to a lot of people, especially like from the 70s and 80s. There's a huge boom back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I don't think it ever died, but it just, there's a boom, and maybe in the mid 90s it wasn't as boomy. Yeah, I don't know, but it was starting to
Yeah.
boom in the 80s is kind of really when, maybe late 70s is really
Well,
when it took
I think
off.
I think of the
So,
'70s is when it really took off,
yeah, yeah.
like with like Prefontaine and everything. Like,
Well, yeah, exactly. By the way, I mean, you remind me of a 70s guy, just kind of seeing the mustache and longish
yeah,
hair, like it's just kind of,
right.
anyways.
I just cut it like once every year or so, and then I let it grow out. And the mustache was from Top Gun, so I just didn't want to shave it.
Yeah, it reminds me of Top Gun.
Yeah, thank you,
So you decided that you're going to run a marathon. How did you train for this first marathon? What was
dude. I had
I mean,
no idea what
306
I
is
was.
pretty good.
308. So don't you count it? You
Whatever.
gotta.
308 was really
You can't.
good.
You don't. Give me too much credit. Thank you. I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew that I needed to get some longer runs in, so
Yeah.
I didn't have any kind of periodized training. I didn't keep track of like. I kind of kept track of like my mileage, like weekly,
Yeah.
but like I would also not start early enough in the morning. So I would go out on Saturday morning to do like a 20-mile long run, and it'd be like 9 a.m. And in August in
Mm,
Oklahoma, like in Texas, 9 a.m. is
that's
you're
pretty
just
late.
pushing like 90 degrees, and I
Yeah.
would just be running on fumes. I didn't really find gels that worked for me. I wasn't taking enough gels, wasn't taking enough nutrition. So I was just kind of winging it,
A
which I
lot of
feel like a
people
lot
do.
of people do. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people do that their first marathon. I would advise them not to do that. I would advise them
Mhm.
to read up on it or
Yeah.
ask your friends, ask people who are in the running community, or, get on YouTube. There's a lot of free information out there.
Yeah. Or
Don't
listen to this podcast. I mean, there's a lot of really great runners that,
exactly
tell me the
listen to this
same story that
podcast.
you're telling me.
Exactly. Be
So
prepared. If you're
you
thinking
can
about running a
easily get
marathon,
prepared nowadays.
exactly. And some people, everybody's different. Like
Yeah.
some people have like an extreme blow up from hell,
Mhm.
and get injured. And so don't take that risk. If you avoid that,
Yep.
take it from me.
I think that,
And that was kinda
I
how I
think,
was training. I was just doing random runs. Sometimes I'd run hard, sometimes I
mm,
wouldn't, and then I was running. I think I only got up to close to 20 miles. I think I only got to 20 miles in my first ever cycle because I could not run further because it was so damn hot. Like, I would just be dead
yeah.
at the end of it. And so,
What would you do weekly about? Would you max?
I
Do you
think I
remember?
got around 60. I think one week
Okay.
I got
Well, I
like
mean,
70. But again, I think the way you strategically do your runs is more important than like you could
yeah.
say, "Oh, I hit 70 miles a week." But were you doing the workouts with a purpose, or were you just taking off? Is if you're being kind of reckless about it.
I know, but I agree. Just now, I agree. But with that said, if somebody could just start building up their mileage in the beginning, reality is that's really what they need. They need the miles and the time on their feet. So I'm
Right.
not saying you can't strategically do things. Now get you a coach and strategically do it would be better,
Right.
or go through a plan. But at the very least, even if you're running 60 miles a week slowly, or at least at a reasonable pace, that's better than nothing, before what you were doing, maybe 10 miles a week or 20 miles a week, right? So building
Right.
your body up for that marathon kind of, hey, you're going to get faster anyways. So I'm not
Right.
telling
Well,
you,
when I
anyways, go
said
ahead.
take off, I meant going too fast.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, that was the problem. There was a long period of time where I was just running way too hard.
Yeah, yeah. I think
And
we've all done that too.
yeah,
So,
and that's something that, like, when I said take off, I didn't mean just, like, going out and starting to run. I meant, like, running
yeah,
too hard
it's a
all the
good point.
time, too much, and not having any real goal with the run in
Yeah.
mind. It's better to run a lot slower, and I should have done stuff like that just because it would have been easier on my body.
Mhm.
But whatever I did worked. I think for me, mileage helped, just building that
Yeah.
up. And so I was like, yeah, 60 miles typically around that.
That's pretty
With
good.
Thank you. Yeah, with no real structure. But I'm also like, I mean, if you look at my body type, I'm not really built like a runner, but I think
You look like you
fortunately
could be a weightlifter if you really put the effort into it, at least in
my
the,
dad used to be into that kind of stuff. I've never really had much of an
yeah.
interest. But like the thing is, like, I do think like while I don't have like the genetic as much of a genetic propensity as other people, I feel like I'm pretty injury resistant. Like I really, knock on wood, I haven't had any like really
Yeah.
bad injuries, for the most part. So that's something like it's kind of miraculous I didn't get hurt with the
Yeah,
way I was
it is.
training at the time.
All right. So you run this marathon. Which one was it? Do you remember?
Oklahoma City.
Okay. Oklahoma City, which is, used to be a popular one here. BRC would pace, you to that, in the springtime. And a lot of
Right.
people here would go run it years ago. I don't know if they
Right.
still do, but and so you run this marathon 3:08. That's pretty impressive for your first marathon with your own training. Jeez. So when did you start getting into a group? When did you start running with people?
Um, I had been running with people off and on
Hmm.
for a while. I mean, I've had friends like from high school that I would run with or people that I just met out and I'd run with them. I would say that I didn't join Pegasus consistently until June of this year, but
Oh,
I had
really?
met two runners affiliated with Pegasus, Carolina Garcia and Manny Lopez at the track.
Uh-huh.
And I just became
Yeah.
friends with them. And a couple of times, there were a few times I went out and like would jog with Pegasus. Like, but one time I went to the Katy Trail Ice House and had a couple of
Hung out
drinks
with
with
them.
him. But it wasn't anything like sustainable because I just didn't want to get up that early. I felt like, oh my gosh, I have to get up at 5:30 on easy days and even earlier on hard days, like, ugh, I don't wanna do that. My work schedule allows me to run, whenever to a degree,
Yeah.
and then I just said, "Screw it. I should," I probably is gonna make more use, it's gonna be better time management, and on top of that, like, hey, people seem cool. So I just started
I
consistently
bet,
going.
and I could be wrong. And so I want to get back to a few other marathons, not necessarily in detail, but just kind of where you went or how you did,
Yeah.
and then I want to talk a little bit about this marathon that you recently did in Indy. And
Mhm.
so because that's your PR, right? The one in
Yep.
Indy? Okay. Which was a 240,
247.
247. Okay. Because you think about your first marathon was 3:08, which is pretty fast. So going from that to 247, it's taking you a little bit of time, to
Right.
get to that. I'm not saying like it's fantastic. I'm not saying, but
No, I get it.
you're not really seeing 20 minutes, 30 minutes of, you know,
Yeah. I'd also like to
where
say
I,
fast is relative, Chris,
well, 3:08 is pretty, I know, but the people you run with are really fast sometimes and probably faster sometimes, but
Right, exactly.
it's all who you hang out with. I get
That's
that,
true.
but don't, but it's still pretty good, especially for a first marathon. It
Yeah.
shows the potential, and so to me, it tells me your potential hasn't been close to being met yet. So
I don't
as
think
long
so.
as you
I
can,
hope not.
as long
I've
as
been
you continue to push. Anyways,
right.
I have a point here. The point is that I think, and I could be wrong, but when you start running with people that are as at your caliber or better, and that can help you and help you understand what it takes to truly train, to truly, eat the right things, with nutrition and everything else, and all of those things helps you to become a better runner.
Right.
And I think we'll get to that. I don't know if that's true, but my assumption is from June to today, you've become a better runner because of the focus that you put on with the community of Pegasus, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a
Oh,
lot of
I
really
100
extreme
yes. They are a
people there
huge
that know it.
those people are a huge like, that training group, the friends I've made, I mean, I love them all
Yeah.
dearly. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for those people. They're
And you've only
huge.
been hanging out with them for 6 months.
Yeah.
Think about that.
And that's the thing, but
It's
in
pretty
that
cool.
6-month period, like, you wake up every day and you
Yeah.
spend a lot of, like, very vulnerable hours in, like, the dark, foreboding
Yeah.
elements at times. That sounds kinda dramatic, but you know what I mean? Like, you get to know somebody pretty quickly. I definitely think joining Pegasus was very integral in my success. I mean, I have a coach now, but
Exactly.
that
Now you have a
that
coach.
helps. Exactly, that helps as well.
Who's your coach?
Jeff Cunningham.
Okay. Yeah.
So he's been a big help to me.
Of course.
Also running with these people has been huge,
Okay.
having that sense of consistent community to run with because it's hard to get a lot of my non-running friends out to run for obvious reasons. Like, I mean, they don't want to do it.
They're non-running
Exactly.
friends.
And that's cool. But
Yeah.
it's nice to
Of
have. So
course.
yeah, Pegasus definitely was a huge factor. Just having people there to push you and
Mm.
Also, like, it makes the time go by, like, when you're really struggling on a run,
Well,
you
and,
know?
if you have a coach, your coach is going to give you all these things to do. And so, in some of those instances, you can get people that you know from Pegasus to run with you because they want to
Exactly.
either do
Right.
the same workouts you're doing, or they're running the same race, or they're just as fast as you, or they want to get faster. And so it all builds
They
upon
make you
each
better.
other, right? They make you
They make you
better, you
better.
make them better. It's all about the community and doing similar
Right.
things that are helping you. All right, so
Right.
let's get back. We'll get more to that in a minute.
Yeah.
I want to get. So, what was you've run 6 marathons, and so did you ever see any kind of, oh my gosh, like this marathon sucked, or did you ever?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah. I can speed run through it. So, after
yep,
OKC 2021, ran OKC again in April when it's originally supposed to be run, but it was run in October because of COVID that year. I was injured with an IT band issue, but
mm,
chiropractor fixed, like, literally 10 days before. All of a
nice.
sudden, was able to target it, fix it. Crazy. Yeah, made a believer out of me. Ran 30 December 2022, so 8 months later. Hadn't really been preparing, kind of been screwing around that summer. Ran my slowest yet, 3:12. Went out in 1:27, then blew up. Literally the most
Still
painful.
not bad.
I felt it was miserable. That was probably
Yeah,
my most miserable marathon. My marathon number 3 just wrecked me.
some good learnings though.
Yeah. Yeah. But then, kind of to the
Come
point where I kinda
prepared.
like I took like a month where I was like, "I just need to, like, step away from this for a
Sure.
minute." But
Yeah.
then I got back into it, and then but yeah, that was probably, like, my worst. But
Okay.
the next one I ran 2:57.
Okay. So you broke three. What'd you do
Yes.
different? What was your
I had a
your t-
coach.
Okay. So you started getting the coach then.
I started coaching with Jeff in late 2023.
Okay.
So
So a couple years now.
2024, April, yeah, I broke in Oklahoma City, which is a notoriously, like, not
Yeah.
super fast marathon. The course is kind of like, the hills roll and
You
the
just
weather
know
is
it well at this
yeah,
time.
exactly, and you also like, the weather can be it's a toss-up. It's
I mean,
usually
it's
never
hard to find
great.
friends to go. I mean, Oklahoma City, you tell me if I'm wrong, because I could be completely wrong, but it's a hometown thing for you. And so
Yeah,
you're familiar with it.
I was born
It's
there,
not
yeah.
like you're born there, you're familiar, you've done it a few times. Plus, I'm not saying you're not running with people, but you haven't got with Pegasus yet to start thinking about, well, are these really cool marathons to, go, like you went to Indy, right? Like 30
Right.
people went.
Yep. That was a much I will always I think Oklahoma City is great.
Yeah.
I think it commemorates all the victims who were killed in the bombing,
Yeah.
uh, 30 years ago. I think it's a well put on marathon. I have nothing bad to say about the energy and just how well it's done.
Yeah, but it's not
It's
an
just a
easy
hard
place to
it's just
do
not an
your
easy place
best.
to run. Yeah, that's the only thing I would complain about. But going to Indy was different because that was, like, the first marathon I feel like I've run where I was like, "Okay, like, the conditions are kinda prime, like, the weather's good and the course is pretty flat, and I've got all these people with me."
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
and
talk a little
even
bit before that marathon. Let's talk a little bit about your training block and
right.
how it went, who you ran with that really helped you kind of
Mhm.
through it. Let's talk about that piece first.
Right. Let's see, training blocks, typically I mean, I'm always even before the training block, I'm usually sitting around 60 miles a week,
Uh-huh.
typically, like, after I've recovered entirely from a race. That's just a very comfortable spot for me. Everybody's different. And then but it's more like just going into Indy was more about just getting acclimated to the heat,
Uh,
getting your body, getting your endurance back. And then I'd say about, 16 weeks out, you start I mean, I still had like harder workouts like every Tuesday and every like Friday. But then once we got, 16, 12 weeks out, we started doing harder stuff like longer track sessions, more tempo oriented work, embedding marathon pace or faster in our long runs. I think those are the best ones. I think the things that make you really good or make you, faster in the marathon, my opinion, not a doctor, but what have worked for me are doing harder reps, like doing 3-mile repeats in your long
mhm.
runs at marathon effort or faster.
Rough.
Yes, sucks. And doing faster stuff on the track. So, like, doing
Uh,
800-meter repeats with, like, 60 seconds rest. That's a big thing. That's a workout that I do a lot of. Like, I'll
what
do
do you think
10
about? Did you ever do two-a-days or anything like that?
I haven't done two-a-days. Think probably for Boston, we might start doing two-a-days. I think if it works and it helps you get the mileage in, then yeah, that's great. for me, I'm able.
It's an interesting thought there because I was talking to Brent. Did you listen to that podcast at all?
I didn't listen to the whole thing.
When you get a chance, do it. But one thing he said is for him, he's not telling everybody to do it, but there's this kind of thing going around in the community, and I'm curious about your thoughts because I don't know. I'm not going to do that. But instead of running like a 20-mile long run during the day, you do 2 10 miles because the first 10 mile you get your body gets to rest, your body gets to recover and everything else, right? So and then because that 20 miles really just kind of breaks your body down. It just really kind of, not to say, I don't think he ever did a whole entire 20. He was doing, 100 miles a week, you know what I mean? But he
Yeah.
would do a lot of two-a-days. And so instead of doing these really long runs, he breaks it down. And then you can do speed work in between or inside those
Yes.
runs. And
Yes.
so,
I think that's so. You're not saying he was doing his long run, like his Saturday long run. He wasn't breaking that up. He was doing
well, he might.
he.
Actually, I think
Oh,
he was at times. But
I
he would,
mean, he's faster than me, so if it works for him, it works for him. I think the long run's important to have like that continuous 23-mile run, but I do
yeah,
think if you're trying to get like 100 miles a weekend, you almost have to because
yeah.
100 miles a week is like 14 and a half miles a day. But I mean, obviously, if you're doing a long run,
But his
still
thinking
that's like,
was his
yeah,
thinking was the more runs you can get in a week, the better. The number of runs, like he'd get 13 or 14 runs a weekend rather than
sheesh.
6 or 7. Like
Right,
you and I, you know what I mean? And so
right.
it was counting the number of runs. Obviously, he's doing all the work because he's doing. I think he told me one time he could get up to 110 to 120 miles. Like, and I'm like,
Yeah,
geez,
that's
that's
hey, the work
ridiculous.
shows.
Oh, I mean,
It's
he's extreme. I mean,
he's
this guy, the mind, like he's very much of a very focused. You can tell he's very, which I love. I mean, it was really fun
yeah.
to kind of listen to some. I was just curious to kind of get your thoughts around some of that, and you might even ask your
Uh,
coach. You might say, hey, what is? Listen
so
to that, kind of hear what he said, and just
right.
might think
I
about
think
that.
I think once you get past a certain amount of mileage, you do need to start incorporating
Yeah,
two-a-days,
yeah.
and I think, like I said, for this marathon cycle, I will. Because for Indy, I got up to 80.
Okay,
That was
that's
my
pretty
peak.
good.
81, something like that. But I think if you wanna start doing, like, 100-mile weeks, like, realistically, you're gonna have to do some two-a-days just to
Oh,
get
that's
all
for
that
sure.
mileage in.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm pro doing two-a-days if you're doing them correctly, which I think most people who are doing two-a-days they're probably knowing what they know what they're doing.
I
I
mean,
would
in
say
Brent's case, certainly, and
yeah, Brent, I have no
I
doubt he
mean,
knows what he's
I'm
doing.
sure Mimi Smith is pretty smart in these things,
Yep.
Jennifer
She is
Pope.
well,
I think they all
all the
do those
sloths.
things, these sloths
Yeah,
guys,
yep.
so I have a feeling you'll be running with those guys soon enough.
I have run I did a rep with Campbell
A rep.
at the end of my workout once, and I didn't know how fast we were gonna go. It was like a 1K, and
Okay.
I took off, and I thought that I would burn him in it, and he came back and just smoked me, and I was so like, "Oh my gosh, what the."
That's
I
fast.
he yeah, he's yeah, I was like, "Okay, I've been humbled. Thank you for doing that." That was
Yeah, just go
I
run with those guys for a minute. They'll humble you.
well,
Um,
I just yeah, I'll get there
you,
eventually. I'd
do you
like
hear
to.
about the ladies, Maddie, Melanie, and Grace running all under
Yeah,
250? That's
they're
pretty cool.
fast. They're
Yeah,
fast.
it's crazy.
All those people, they're
Yeah.
insane. I strive to run as fast as they do.
Well, I mean, you did actually. You did
Well,
246, but
I strive to be at their caliber
be at their
consistently.
caliber as a man, right? And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd like to get into I'd like at Boston to get close to 240,
I think it's
ideally.
doable.
Eh,
Well,
we'll see.
let's talk about Indy then. How'd that go? Like what?
Went well.
When you first got when you first got there, starting line, or what'd you do before the night before, and then let's get into the.
So, the night before, well, we had our shakeout the day before. The night
Uh-huh.
before, I just made sure to eat things that we had. What do we eat? A lot of us got together and ate. Was it kava? No, it wasn't kava. It was some other place. Oh, it was sweet green.
Okay,
And me personally, like my stomach is pretty, it's pretty. I don't have a very
solid.
sensitive stomach.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have stomach issues typically. Like at least I've never had a stomach issue during a race ever. Like it's just not
I
something like then
rarely have a
again.
stomach issue, but I
Yeah,
had
I just gotta,
once.
like, lock up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we've all had that, but in a race, not so much, and I just try to make sure I eat plenty.
Yeah.
I actually have to give credit what helped I was really making sure I was carb loading, like, eating more than I was comfortable with eating,
Hmm,
because Kendall Rose was like, "You need to eat more," and I was like,
hmm.
okay. And she showed me everything that she had eaten the 3 days prior, and I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna track that because"
Exactly.
I was like, "That's gonna give me anxiety,
Yeah.
but I will eat." And I noticed one of the things that she was eating a lot of were graham crackers, and I was like,
Mm.
"Okay, cool. So I'm gonna eat a
Study.
sleeve of graham crackers." So I was just shoveling graham crackers in and just, making sure my carbs were up. Yeah, I just did stuff like that, a lot of bread,
Uh-huh.
pasta, stuff, like that, not really and not worrying too much about, like, "Oh, am I eating too much?" But
Yeah.
the night before, I had sweet greens, so I had some protein. I used to get super anxious before races. Nowadays, I'm just kinda like,
Who
"I've done the
cares?
work. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do the best I can. Chips will fall where they may." I still
Yeah.
get anxious, but, like,
Yeah.
not as anxious as I used to be. I'm not. I find that I do better if I just kinda go, "Okay, like, I'm here.
See what
I
happens.
know I can
Yeah.
yeah, I know I can do this." Like, I'm not fully confident in my ability. So, yeah, the night before, I just made sure to stay off my feet,
Yeah. It's normal
stay
stuff.
up too late, and just treat it like another day. I
Yeah.
think I think you can psych yourself out too much, and if you psych yourself out, sometimes it's game over. You
100%.
show up on race day and your mind's all zapped, and that's really important. So for me, it was just about relaxing and
Okay.
just being like, "Hey, it's gonna be a 26.2-mile long run, and last 3 miles will probably suck," and they did.
Yeah.
So,
It always does.
I mean, I made a tactical error in the race, so it was kinda,
Did
that
you
kinda
any story that stands out besides, like hanging out with anybody, somebody did this weird thing or,
Oh,
you know,
beforehand?
yeah, before or during,
Well, beforehand, after we ate at Sweet Green, I was walking back with Drew, and he wanted to stop at the liquor store, and he was under the impression that I was gonna drink this bottle of whiskey with him after the race, and I just said, "Well, I'll just come in with you because after the race, I'm gonna want a beer, I'm not gonna drink a bottle of whiskey with you." And the entire time he was like, "Hey, yeah, we've got some nice whiskey waiting for us." I was like, "No, dude, I'm not drinking that." Like, I do not feel like that.
I'll have a beer.
So, yeah, there were a lot of funny things. Just a lot of, just a lot of random stuff. Definitely 4 people to a hotel room.
Oh, wow.
It's a good time,
Yeah.
it's cramped quarters, but we all had fun. Anybody got too out of hand afterwards?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm saying beforehand, that would really suck if somebody got out of hand.
No,
You
no,
know,
not beforehand, not beforehand. I
everybody's
don't think any
just
of us
doing business there, and it's like
right,
it's all serious.
exactly.
All right.
But during the race, I remember taking off and I had Michael Ryan and Davis Weston. They were in front of me. And I was kind of just like, we're going to run together. Like, that was like kind of the goal. And they kind of like just crept away from me for a while. And in the
Huh.
beginning, that kind of made me nervous. I was like, oh man, maybe I should have gone with them. But I just said, no, you're fine. You're going to be all right. Just do your thing. And so I kind of just zoned out for a
Yeah.
while and got through up into like the halfway point with the help of some other people that I'd met, just running with them. And came through in like 123. And then I made the tactical error. This is where I made
Okay.
the tactical error. I felt really good and I started unconsciously kind of picking it up. And I remember I looked at my watch because I put it on the lap setting when I do
Yeah.
races because I want to see what my actual pace is overall for the
Yeah.
mile. And I was like, oh, that's like 6 flat. That's too fast. And then I tried to slow up and I ran through the mile in like 6:07. And so I was clicking off a lot of like low sixes,
Yeah.
like,
It was
like
a little
lower
fast.
sixes, not low sixes. And then mile 19, I saw Michael in my sights and I slowly was just creeping up on him a little bit. And I caught him there and then I split like a 5:58 mile. And I was like, that's not good. And I was like, this is going to hurt later.
Yeah.
And
Gonna hurt.
sure enough, he and I were working together the next couple of miles together. Like, as he says, we were in the gulags.
Mhm.
Like it was brutal those next few miles. And then I thought I got away from him. Mile 25 comes by. He just goes by me. He's like, "Come on, dude, let's go." And I physically couldn't go any faster. I still held it together. Yeah, I was wishing I hadn't gone so fast in the, first half of the second portion of the race.
Yeah, but you got a pretty big PR. So,
Yes, it was about a 10-minute PR. It was
I mean, that's pretty awesome.
yeah, which I was still thrilled about that.
Yeah.
I was not disappointed. I just every time I do a race, I always think about, "Oh, what could I have done a little bit differently?"
I think you should. Yeah.
And that's I think that's most of us. Most
You
of
think
us
you'll
look
do
back and
Indy
go,
again?
"Okay." Excuse me?
Do you think you'll do Indy again?
I'd like to. I might do New York this year.
Okay.
I go out there a lot. I have a lot of friends out there, but I would like to run a really fast one in Indy again. So we'll just see. We'll
Yeah.
see how I feel after Boston.
Yeah. Have you ever run Boston before?
No,
Okay. That's your first one. That's
first
exciting.
one. And I got in through my company. I technically got in through my
Oh,
company,
that's right.
like a
I think you did.
lottery, but I was able to upgrade my time.
Yeah, because you actually got the time. That's cool.
I got lucky, but I'm still excited either way.
Okay, you're gonna. Well,
And
do
I'm
you get to?
qualified for next year, so I'm pretty
Yeah.
I think that's the best possible outcome for me,
So
for
you think you'll
anybody.
go 2 years in a row then?
For sure, for sure.
There's
I
no doubt.
There's no
That's
doubt. Like, might as
awesome.
well. I've done OKC 4 times. I think that's enough for me. So
Do you
I
think
think
Boston is doable for a PR?
it's happened. I've talked to people who've said they've done it. I just have to run smart and not be an idiot.
Yeah, the only thing I would tell you is I've never done it, but my wife's done it 13 years in a row, and then
Yeah,
obviously I've talked to a lot of
you were
people.
telling me about that.
And the first several miles, first three, two, four, or whatever it is, it's kind of downhill, and
Yeah,
so you've just got to remember, like, because you're gonna go fast, and then you get some rollers later in the miles,
yeah.
and so that's where a lot of people make the mistake. They're not feeling, they start going up those hills, and you see it even in the elites, you know,
Oh, yeah.
it's
I've
like
seen
some of
footage.
them start falling off, and so you
Yeah.
just got to be. I'm not saying it's not doable. It's certainly doable, and if you have a great
Right.
training block, I think you're gonna do pretty well.
I hope to run it. I hope to run well. If not, I mean, if I don't get a PR, I hope to at least run well. And I mean, it's Boston, so I'm just excited about that.
Dude, you're gonna have a blast. I'll be
Oh,
there. Of course, my wife will be there. That's the only
yeah,
reason it's
that's
the only
exciting.
reason I'm here. No,
Hey, you
no,
know
not
what?
really.
That's awesome. Either way, hey,
I
it's
get to go.
amazing that she's been there 13 times or something.
Yeah, it is. So, what'd y'all do after the race? You felt good? I mean, when you were finished, first of all, like, did you like, oh my God, I did it? Or were you like, yeah, finally? Or what, how'd that feel?
I don't I was just like I was stoked and I was tired and I remember saying I want a beer.
Yeah.
So I saw Michael and his wife and we were there together for a minute and I was like I'm getting in line for a beer and they were like we're going back to our hotel and I said okay. And I got near the front of the line. They were like, "Hey, people need to have their ID," and I was like, "Dude, I have a mustache." I literally told him I was like, "I have a mustache.
Yeah.
I'm 30 years old. I
Yeah.
just turned 30 like a couple of days ago,
I
kind of
was for this
clean."
marathon, give
And
me a beer.
he looked at me and he was like, "You're fine, man. Just go get your beer."
Good.
And and he said, "To be fair, I had a mustache like yours when I was 17." And I was like, "Cool, probably so." Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's fair. And yeah, it was more just hanging around, seeing people who had finished, like seeing friends, some of them non-Pegasus friends, and then we all got together. We went to this afterwards. We all got together and went to this place. It was like it's not a Chili's. It
Kind of like a
was
Chili's.
what's that?
Kind of like a Chili's.
It was kind of like a Chili's, except it had games there too. And we were there for a couple hours, just had some drinks. I went home. I went to back after that. I went back to my hotel and I took like an hour ish nap. It wasn't really much of a nap. Then Michael, his wife, and Davis, we all went to Ruth Chris, which I'd never been to a Ruth Chris before, and it was actually really good. And
Yeah.
so,
It's a
yeah, it
nice.
was nice. It was a good time.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
It's kind of
So,
like it's hard for me to like eat and drink after a marathon.
oh,
Like it's like my body like won't take anything. I'm just like I said, like stomach locks up.
takes
Like
a
I
few
just
hours a lot of times
yeah
for most people.
yeah. But at Ruth Chris, I was like
Ready to eat.
the wine, the steak, everything.
Makes me want to get off this call right now and go to a steakhouse and drink some wine.
There you go. Well, hey, man, it's your world. You should do it.
Yeah, exactly. I might do something this week for sure.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything that I missed that we should have talked about, or that you were like, man, we should have talked about this thing?
I think it's important. One of the things I tell people in running, like we brought this up. I said good's relative, but I think one
Yeah,
thing, and this is something I'm bad about, but something I've noticed, just people in general, they always like just want to compare themselves to like other people. I think that's
sure.
something that comparison is the thief of joy. And I know a lot of people who are like, oh, I don't want to get into this because I don't think I'm going to be that good. And I can understand not getting into running because you just don't like it. Because if you don't like it, that's fine. I I am very much against people spending their time in this life doing
Of
like
course.
spending their free time doing something that they're not really that into. Like I've met
Yep.
people who are like, I think I'm passionate about this or that. I'm like, you're not that into it. That's
Yeah.
fine. Go find something else.
Yeah.
But if your fear is, oh, I'm just not going to be as good as other people, I mean that doesn't matter.
That's right.
Like, it's really important to, set goals for yourself that are in line with what your abilities are. Like, yeah, like it's great to aim high, but be smart and don't just do something to be like, "Oh, then people will see that I'm this caliber." Do it because you wanna do it. I run like, for example, like, I run for myself. I don't
Yeah.
run for anybody else. Like, I do this because I love it. And
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, like, I'll run for charity, but I do it predominantly because I love it. It brings me fulfillment and joy, and I don't care if I come first or last in a race. I'm doing this entirely because I wanna do it.
Love
And
that
I think that's important that
because
a lot of people don't they get too caught up in, oh, how they're gonna compare to other people.
yeah, look, I think that's very well said. And I think that, look, there's always somebody going to be faster than you, period. I mean, it doesn't, I mean, as fast as you are, there's somebody way faster.
Oh, yeah. I
There's
can give you
always
their names.
somebody new coming up, like,
Yep.
and I think that for me, I do it for my health. I do it for the community. I do it because I do like to compete and
Yeah.
can get better times or can beat certain people. Like you
Right.
do what motivates you, if you and I were in a race, obviously you have more, speed and things like that, so it'd be dumb for me to compare myself to you. Like it is what it is. You're going to be faster than me. Who cares? Like, but I am talking to you about your racing and how you're doing it and those kinds of things. And the reason we do it is because we love it. We want to be smart about it and
And we
things
wanna
like
get
that.
better.
We want to get better. And so does everybody else. And I think that's
Exactly.
very well said, Brandon. Well, it's been good, man.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it. This has been awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Braden, thanks so much for coming to another DFW Running Talk. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Please go to our newsletter and subscribe to dfwrunningtalk.substack.com. We also have a YouTube channel and Instagram and all kinds of things. Just Google DFW Running Talk and you'll see all the fun places we are. Until next time, Braden Keefer, great to talk to you. Take care.
Yeah, thanks a lot. See ya.